We're gonna try this again. So I started recording, went on a complete rambling tangent that had more ums and uhs in it than was necessary, and decided that that was unusable. I can't see either. So we're gonna try again. So hello. There we go. I can see you now. Hello. Welcome to Stitches and Sundries. This is a podcast about cross stitch and stitchy goodness. My name's Lauren, and I am just starting wherever this video starts. I usually like count in and try and have like a nice clean start, and it's hard to find in the timeline when you're editing, but whatever. We're just starting. So if you're new here, thank you so much for coming by and finding me. I talk about cross stitch and stitchy goodness, and I hope I have interesting stitches. I'm slow, but I hope I have interesting stitches. If you've been with me for a while, you know I just lied to those people. But that's what you got to do, I think. If you've been here for a while, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with me. This podcast is 90% for me. Like, it's a motivator for me to get things done. But then all these nice people have come along for the ride, and so that's so wonderful. So I appreciate all of you. No crazy life updates this time. I'm pretty much over my bronchitis that I've had for the past like 4 episodes, it feels like. But then as soon as I got over my sickness, my poor little kitty, Dusty Rose, put a picture here, my fat cat, my baby girl, she's quite old, and all of a sudden she just started stumbling out of nowhere. And I was like, ooh, stroke? Like, what happened? It's just an ear infection. Whew. So that was a relief. But now we have to fight her and put eardrops in every night, and she loves us for that. But other than that, everything has calmed down a little bit. Doing the last minute Christmas shopping. Not really anything going on. I've been trying to stitch. I feel like I've been a little like chaotic in my stitching, but I've made good progress. So let's talk about cross stitch. I don't have any haul or anything. It's just straight cross stitch. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips and a new start. So let's get into it. All right. Now I'm going to start with my really crappy progress. So my first one that I made the tiniest bit of progress on, I think I only worked on it one evening, is I Want to Believe by Alliton Embroidery. And I'm supposed to be getting this thing done. I really, really, really wanted the goal to have it done by the end of the year. If I want that, I have to work on it more than one day in a 2-week period. So we'll see. Here's where I was. And as you can see, don't look at my cat hair. I have made very, very little progress. I did finish the text to Believe, and I'm starting to fill in down here, and this is the goal, is to get that completely done. Can I hold it at the right angle? Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see there's just a little, I think there's like 450 stitches of all that dark blue in there. And then up here is like another 2,000 stitches, I think. Like, this thing is so dense. I have projects started that are like 3,000 stitches, and there's very frustrating. But yeah, I really want this done by the end of the year. So, and I should have brought it down. I've pretty much finished the crochet blanket that I have been working on for my aunt, that I thought was due at Christmas. So I've just been hauling ass, get this blanket done, get this blanket done. It's a gift from one aunt to another, but I'm doing all the work. And so I really put in the time this past 2 weeks, really stitched on that blanket, and it's done. And she calls me today and she's like, well, with the due date of March, ma'am, no, I'm giving this to her at Christmas. You can say it's from you or not, but like, you said Christmas originally. March is the other aunt's birthday, but like, I've put in the time. No. So that thing's, if it is March, it's going in the freaking to be worked on in February bin. Because I have stuff I've wanted to do. Like, get this done. So yeah, I love the colors in this. It's so pretty. Alliton Embroidery does very nice patterns. They're all Pattern Keeper compatible. They're all like really nicely thought out, fun to stitch. This has just been backburnered a lot for me for some reason, and so I just need to get it done. I'm stitching this on 28 count black cashel linen, which is hurting my eyes when I work on this dark blue on the black. But I originally started it on white, on just like white Aida, as like, who cares, it's gonna be full coverage. It looks 10 times better on the black, so highly recommend. And yeah, I think I can still get it done. If I really focus on it, I think I can get it done by year end. Excuse me. Yeah, so like I got everything sitting everywhere. This room has started to become a catch-all for stuff we don't know where it goes. And so there's just a lot of crap sitting around. But I feel like if you're given space, you immediately outgrow space. You know what I mean? All right, next up is another whip I've been working on. This one I've been taking a lot to work. This is Greetings from Beyond by Night Spirit Studio. Here's where I was. Put it up there at some point. I've been taking this to work a lot and working on it on my lunch break. It doesn't always work out. Like sometimes I only get like 25 stitches in. But that's 25 stitches I wouldn't have had, right? So it's something. But some days I actually made some progress. All right, so here's where I'm at now. And so I think last time I hadn't gotten this. I have finished in the black border around the outside, started up here, started working on this last candle. And yeah, I was working up here and then I started noticing like, ooh, I got a lot more black than I do white. Better start hoofing it on the black. So yeah, I'm almost, I think the next row starts the stars. And it's like almost identical to this. So this one is, oh, I want to say like 60-some% done, maybe 70. I forgot to bring my book down. So it's coming along really nicely. I'm stitching this on 28 count Plum Pudding Lugana by Mountain Aire Fabrics. I'm just stitching it with the Call for 310. And then this is, it's not making much of a difference, but this is Weeks Dye Works Whitewash. It's got a little bit of variation to it. I think it gives that like aged appearance just slightly. And I really, really like it. It's turning out really nice. It's a good one to work on at work too, because it's like one color. It's, or like you can work in big blocks of color, I guess. It's kind of potato chip stitching. I can, you know, answer an email if I have to and not like lose my place. It's quite nice. I can't wait for this to be done. Cannot wait. And then I'm going to be working on that wall right there that you can't see. There's a big blank wall. And this is a house. Me, as a human, I hate blank walls. So I'm going to fill it up with divination themed stitches. What else I got? Let's do this one. Let's do this one. This is Eat Crow by Plum Street Samplers. Plum Street Samplers, is that right? And here's where I was. Yes. And here is where I am now. Oh, get this sucker folded properly. Ta-da! He's looking so good. He's looking so good. So I finished the bottom border, which was chunky. That took a bit. Started up here, got all these flowers all in and done. Yeah, I think that's done. It looks done to me. And so I've just got the flowers up here and then another border at the top. There's a flower right there. But he's coming along quite well. I love it on this fabric. This is 14 count Misty Taupe, I think. Yeah, it's 14 count. Misty Taupe, I think it's a Charles Craft Aida. And it looks so good with these fall olivey colors. Like this really is a nice background for all those. I finally, did I have the pumpkin completely done? I think I was missing a chunk out of it. Editing Lauren is the only one that knows. But I finally got that ginormous pumpkin done. And yeah. I love, oh, I'll have to put in, I love this buzzard. I'll put in this picture. I was coming home from somewhere the other day and drove through, and a deer had gotten hit on the side of the road and they just dragged it into the ditch. And usually somebody calls and people come and clean it up. Like the road services will clean up a dead deer. Nobody had done that. It was on somebody's property too, but it was probably like a vacation house. And so there were like 8 to 10, I'll have to look at the picture, buzzards just eating on this deer carcass. It was down to ribs. It was really an image. And as I went by, they all flew up into this tree, this, tree that's got no leaves on it. It's very cool. And so I snapped a couple pictures because at first I was like, as I was like driving and like saw them in the distance, I was like, whoa, those are some big ass crows. And instead they were, I think, oh man, I'll put the name of the type of bird somewhere around here. Because they're not turkey vultures, because turkey vultures are very big, and but they're pure black. And I actually kind of want to get these pictures, a couple of these pictures framed, because they're just so eerie and cool. I love buzzards though; they're really cool. And they like flew across the road, and then like 2 of them were like, "You can drive on, like we're eating, we're snacking. I don't care about what you're doing." So it was a very cool thing, especially the like dead trees around. It was very atmospheric. So yeah, I love this guy. I love his little crown. Love his little crown. And yeah, I originally had an idea. Can I reach it? Oh. I originally had an idea of how to finish him. I have one of those wooden things. So you put like a wooden thing at the top and a wooden thing at the bottom, and you have it like a door hanging or a wall hanging tapestry kind of thing. But the one I have, I think, is too narrow. I think the one I have would only go to like there to there, and it just kind of wouldn't look right. So I'm gonna have to think about how I want to finish him. I love his rusticness. So I'm going to have to think on this one. But, oh, and I've said a million times, I did a floss conversion on this because I couldn't find the right flosses. If you're interested in what that conversion was, let me know. And here my little travel stitching floss box in there. What's in this one? Sometimes it's a surprise, even to me, what's in these bags. Yes, that's right. All right, so this is Make Today Magical by Tiny Modernist. She just released part 7 in December, on December 1st. And I was keeping up with it really, really good because she has 2 months per each part. But with the blanket and everything, I fell a little bit behind. So I'm going to get caught up. And this is where I was last time. I had just started on part 6. Just had a teeny tiny bit on part 6. And I put some time into it this time. I tell you, I did New Start November. I didn't do the full. Some people do kind of like a mania where they do a new start every day. And I did one every week. because I was just in a stitchy slump, and it really helped. It made it so that when I go to my cabinet, and I'm excited about every bag in there pretty much. If I pull something out, I'm happy to be working on it. Whereas before I was like, oh, what do I want to work on? I don't know. I think I have, I should try and get some of these things done. And it just did. It refreshed me. I now have 13 whips if we include the blanket. 14 if we include another crochet project that has been languishing for over a year that I do actually want to finish, but I don't care when that gets finished. So we're not going to count that one. 13 with the blanket. I have 13 whips. That is the most whips I've ever had in my life. I used to be a monogamous stitcher. I moved up to like 5 to 6, and then that crept up to like 8, and 8 was like my max. I was like, we got to get some finishes in before we add more. Yeah, and then I just added 5 more. Like, it was necessary. You all are very terrible influences. Truly. But anyway, here's the progress I made. So, I did a ton of work on the swan. It was a lot. Like, it doesn't, all that white does not seem like a lot. I feel like there's like 800 stitches just in that swan, and he's not quite done. Put in some stars, started work on this mountain, started work on the arrow, just kind of like working around. Kind of where my hoop was stuck. I was like, oh, we're going to keep here. And yeah, it's really coming along. So this one has pretty much an identical scene. Like the arrow needs its finial or its feathers, the bluebells, and then there's the mountain and a couple stars. And yeah, I almost felt like changing it a little bit, but I kind of like the symmetry. So yeah, it's coming along. The other thing is, and I'll put the new part up here. This cat is white and brown. And my kitty, Dusty Rose, is white and brown. So I might kind of move the spots around a little bit to make it look a little more like Dusty. But I still want to keep it looking appropriate, but it's the only cat, I think. I don't think there's, oh, what if if there's another cat on the other side, I'll just make it look like Dusty too. Or maybe I'll make it all white because my sister's cat, Beast, is all white. She's pure white. So maybe I would make that one the 2 cats in our house. Yeah. This is a super fun stitch. Oh, I didn't say. Let me get back out here. I'm stitching this one on 18 count Pansey by Picture This Plus. Ooh. Check the description below. I list it. I'm stitching this on 18 count. I know it's 18 count Pansey. I think it is Picture This Plus. I got it off of Stashtopia, Rogue Stitching's like wholesale, or not wholesale, in stock side of things. And I love this fabric. I love how all the colors are popping on it too. And if I forget, I try and be good. But if I forget, I always list what I'm stitching on, down in the... Okay. I cannot math today, or function. It's not even math, Lauren. It's putting things in categories that you made. Put the things back in the right bag. There we go. We did it. All right. This is a new start. We'll do that one next. Look at my beautiful bag. My sister made me this bag. Isn't it great? This one is My Rotting Body by Contrary Peri. And I love it. I was like, oh, it's such a beautiful quote. And then I looked up. It is a Edvard Munch quote, who is the artist that did The Scream and everything. And he was apparently a very I want to call him like a humanist. He loved people and the world. He was just like a person that very much appreciated humans and all their little quirks and the world we live in. And he was just like a person that was like in love with the world he was in. And that is amazing. Isn't that amazing? I think that's such a good sentiment these days. We don't have enough of that. So at some point while I was rambling, I will put in where I was. It'll happen. And here's where I am now. So I'm making a little progress. I would have made more progress, except I started, I don't know, several nights ago, and was like, okay, I need to start this T under this T. Like, that's where I was kind of picking up from. And instead I started it way over here under this I. Don't ask me why. That's just what I did. And pushed literally everything over. Like 6 stitches. And had to undo all of it. I had like finished the lettering, started on the mushroom, made good progress on the mushroom. Had to undo all of it. And so I lost basically a whole night of stitching. But yeah, I finished the bottom text there where I've been kind of working. Made really good progress on this mushroom. Started outlining the skull. That is just me parking a thread so I can stitch over it. But yeah, did some vines because I was like really kind of worried about the green on green. But it's turning out really beautifully. I really like the colors in this. How they're like this brown, this around the skull is very, what's the word I want? Antiqued, washed out, but it like makes sense with the like bone. I don't know. I like it. I like how the colors are looking on. This is a piece of 28 count Lazy River jobelan by Wichelt Imports. And it's perfect for this piece. So I'm really loving this one. It's one of my favorites to stitch on. This filling in the skull is going to be fun though. But honestly, I've filled in so much sky and tree in I Want to Believe that like everything is easy. Everything is easy anymore. Fold that back up. Contrary Peri doesn't have a lot of patterns, but the ones she has are pretty darn good. She has a Fallout Boy one that I really want to do as well. Fallout Boy? Nope, Death Cab for Cutie. Death Cab for Cutie. When this one's done, I think I'm going to put it right here. Fill in this big hole. No blank walls. Alright, last one. New start. So I was originally going to start something else. And when I got to the week I was going to start it, I looked around. I was like, what did I pick? What was I going to start? And I couldn't remember. Of course, like 2 days later, I remembered and was like, oh, I could have done that. But I couldn't remember. And so I was like, well, pick something else. Like, who cares? Pick something else. And so I was kind of lamenting the lack of winter decorations. And so I was just going through my Etsy, like saved patterns, which is like 700 patterns long. Just going through them, and I don't save a lot of winter. Save a lot of fall and Halloween, but I don't save a lot of winter. And so I was talking to my sister as I'm kind of going through, and she's like, well, just type in like winter pattern. And so I did, and I found a couple. And I had done, oh, okay, we're going to tilt the camera. Man, can we get up there? Come on, there he is. Beggar's Luck by Threadwork Primitives. Why is this so difficult? There he is. And I loved it. It's so cute. It's a St. Patrick's Day stitch. But we don't really decorate or celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We're German, not Irish. And, but I liked it. I like the crow. So I just changed the lettering from like, it usually has the date of St. Patrick's Day. And I changed it to be my initials and 2023, because that's the year I stitched it. Or 2022. So we're going past them, and she saw there's a Christmas version. And it's this. This is Beggars Christmas by Threadwork Primitives. And my sister was like, oh, I love that. I would love that for the wall, for the Christmas decorations. And I was like, oh, okay. I enjoyed stitching it. So, and it's a small for me. It's like 3,000 stitches. And so I just grabbed the stuff for it. Unfortunately, it was a paper pattern only. Excuse me. And this boggles my mind. I get it, but I don't get it, and it annoys the absolute hell out of me. There are a couple, and they're especially in that primitive style, who absolutely refuse to send you a digital pattern, to digitize their patterns in any way. And part of me gets it. Like, it does probably help with pattern theft. But does it really? Does it really? Like, if I'm going to buy a digital pattern and I'm an unscrupulous person and I'm just going to like give this away left, right, and center. If I buy a paper pattern, what's to stop me from making photocopies? Or, you know, like, oh, everybody does destash groups on Facebook. What's to stop me from, I've stitched it, sending it on. Like, no, nothing goes back to the original designer for that either. So, like, putting a paper pattern, making me wait 4 days for it to, you know, get packed up, ship. I actually think it was 5 days to get to me. And then it's not digitized at all. So, like, I have to stitch from Pattern Keeper. Even something tiny, I want it in Pattern Keeper. So I put it in there. So I digitized your pattern anyway. Like, it's really an inconvenience that I am barely willing to put up with anymore. So, but my sister really liked it, which is kind of weird. We don't, I guess we celebrate Christmas, like, sort of, but not for any religious sense, just because it's that time of year. We don't put up a tree anymore. We definitely don't go to, we're not church oriented people in any way. We grew up in the church, but it's just not a thing we do anymore. And so, like, the biggest thing is we give gifts and hang out with family, which I guess is part of the Christmas spirit. But just, like, I don't really decorate for Christmas. I decorate for winter, and, like, I don't know. We're the people complain about when we're like, happy holiday seasons, greetings, like, because it just doesn't mean anything to us. But she loved this. So here's my start. And I made a really good start. So I love this tree. I think it's so cute and quirky. I love how it turned out. And I use the same fabric I used on Beggar's Luck, which is 28 count Vintage Smokey White from Zweigart. But it's looking really bright. Like, this is looking very white. And so the gold really stands out. But yeah, I kind of like it. It's my little start. Filling in the super chunky gold bottom is going to be fun. But again, it's only like, I think 3,200 stitches for this whole thing. So it's coming along quite a bit. And I love it quite a bit. I do love the inclusion of, I think it's a starling is what she said in her patterns. It's just a little non-traditional, kind of a cool take on all these holidays, is this like bird that's stealing pieces of the holiday. I kind of like that. But yeah, it's a good little start. I don't think this will take very long at all, but I will not have it up in time for Christmas. So I am terrible about like stitching ahead. I always end up stitching in the time, like, oh, it's Christmas time, I feel like stitching Christmas. Oh, it's Halloween, I feel like stitching Halloween. That's kind of all year round. Or it's spring. I'm going to get my spring stuff out. So it's always like a year behind. I'm like stitching for the next year. But it's turning out really pretty. You can kind of see the brown modeling in there. The smoky white of it all. And I'm using call for flosses. Nothing crazy. I do need to get, I'm working on finishing up an organizer for my silk flosses. And then I really want to be better about using these beautiful silk flosses that I have. So I'm going to get those out. Done. That's all the updates I have. Next episode will be, I wish I had a calendar in front of me. Between Christmas and New Year's probably. And it is going to be year in review / goals for next year. And then I'm trying to talk my old co-host Devin. It's not hard talk. We haven't gotten together to like hash out details. It's not like I'm convincing her to do something. Of doing a reunion episode where we like do a whip parade of all the crap we've both started. I'd love to get some of my other stitchy friends from locally and do it like a big whip parade of just the nonsense. My friend Mary is really struggles with ADD. She's one of the most awesome people in the world, but she will start something, put 2 stitches in it and set it down. And so I know I want to see a whip parade so bad of all the little crochet items, knitting items. She doesn't really cross stitch, but she does crochet, knitting. She did diamond painting for a little while. I want to see all those starts. I just want to bask in it. So I need to like convince everybody to do that. So that's it for today though. Easy peasy, quick and painless. Lots of fun updates. I've already started thinking about goals for the year. I don't think I achieved many of my goals for 2023. My finish count is pretty low. I started a lot of big projects, and I think one of my goals was to always have a gift stitch going. I think I pretty much accomplished that. But it wasn't the best crafting year I've ever had. Wasn't the best, but not the worst either. So I'm okay with it. I hope you all are having a wonderful holiday season. Season's greetings. Happy Yule. And stay safe, stay sane. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves.